All right, good evening, everybody. Let me see who we've got here. We've got Harmon, Eliza. We've got Harmon, Eliza. Just Jason's in the house. Walter. It's nice to see everybody. So tonight we're going to do a edit of a basic YouTube video, and so this is a vlog, and so essentially the guy in the vlog he's just going to go get some coffee. And so a lot of people, the way they will edit is they will take all of their footage. And so let's see if we can get this up. They'll take all of their footage and just dump it in the timeline. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's a perfectly fine way to edit. I prefer to edit from the monitor. And so if you go down and click on any of the clips, hello Uncle Heavy, how are you? You can bring that up into a program monitor, and you can assign in and out points versus dragging the whole clip down into the timeline, going through all of the clips, chopping them up, rearranging them. You can just do the entire edit here and then just append or insert it into the timeline. And so that's what we're going to do tonight. There's a couple of ways to play these clips through. You can either push this button here, which will start it, or you can hit your space bar to start or stop it. Just like that. So as we go through, we'll put in and out points in the video, bring them down in the timeline, and create a story. This finished edit is going to be around 1.5 minutes. And you can tell an entire story in 1.5 minutes. It absolutely can be done, as we'll show here. The great thing about this, I want to show you essentially how I edit a video. And so I edit a video in passes. And so what I mean by that, rather than just taking all the footage, editing it out, looking at it, hey, it looks great, upload it to YouTube, what I do is I edit in passes. And so in the very first pass, I essentially take all the clips, cycle through them, create a main storyline. And that is the first pass. On that storyline, in the second pass, I would add B-roll, that sort of thing. I would tighten the edit up, make sure that it made a little more sense, cut any of the ums, ahs, that sort of thing out, and just give it that little streamlined look. In that final pass, that's when I would look at my audio, look at everything, make sure that it's color corrected, graded, whatever needed to be done, at which point we could then upload it to YouTube or wherever you're going to upload it. So we'll go ahead and play through this.
It's really rainy, but I need coffee beans.
And right here, I'm going to hit O on my keyboard. Now, hitting I or O on your keyboard while you're up here will put an in point and an out point on that clip, meaning that only that portion of the clip that is between those two brackets, the in and the out point, is what will come into the timeline. Now, we didn't do an in point on this clip because it already has one. We just used the clip all the way from the beginning, which typically I wouldn't do, because a lot of this isn't really usable in the sense of visually usable. However, we're going to cover that up later with B-roll. You can just go over here, click Insert, and it will bring that into your timeline. And go down here to my timeline, let's bring that up a little bit. We'll play that back through and show you what we're talking about.
It's really rainy, but I need coffee beans.
And so all that it brought in was that in and out point that we assigned to it. So we're going to play through the rest of this clip and see if there's any more that we want to bring in.
Goodness. Of all the times to get...
Now we're obviously not going to use any of that because he gets in the car, he's arranging the camera, and we don't want to get any of that. So what he's going to do is he's going to arrange that camera where he wants it, get out of the car, and then get back in, and that's the part that we'll be using.
All the times to go to the store, you have to pick in the middle of a torrential downpour.
And so as I played that through, I just hit the I and the O key to set my endpoints between these blue brackets right there where the gray is. And that will allow me to, again, insert that into the timeline. Click on that. And now you can see that it's in the timeline.
All the times to go to the store.
We'll go to our next clip. Start playing through this.
This is Dave.
Okay, so I missed my cue there where I want to start it. So I'm going to hit the J key, which will allow this to back that cursor, the playhead, back towards the beginning. So right about there, I think I'm going to hit an endpoint.
This is day 3 with no coffee beans, which I know is not the worst problem in the world, but when you get up early, you do creative stuff, it's kind of part of the whole deal.
And right there, we'll hit an out point. And again, we will just insert that into the end of the video. I think that's all we're going to use for this clip.
This is the first chance I've gotten to get out of the house.
That's all we're going to use on that clip. So we will go to this next clip. Okay, so this clip here, this is him driving from his house to the store. And it's a fairly long clip. We're going to go ahead and insert the whole clip. We'll be able to look at, it's pretty long. So this whole clip right here is what we just inserted. What we're going to do is we're going to highlight that, hit Command R on our keyboard, and that's going to bring up clip speed duration. I'm going to change that to 7,000. It's going to make it really, really short. So what we're going to do here, if we played this back, it's going to sound really horrible. You can kind of hear it there as I scrub back and forth. It's going to sound really, really bad because that audio is sped up as well. So it'll just be really scratchy. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit Option or Alt on your keyboard, click on that clip, press Delete. And we're just going to get rid of the audio. Go to the end of that. And we will go to our next clip. Just double click on that next clip, bring it up into your media window, and start playing through it. And do an endpoint right about there. Nope, let's back it up a little bit. We're going to do the endpoint right there. Out point right there. I'm going to bring that into the end of the clip. That's all that's in that clip for us to use on this one. So we're going to go to the next one. Again, just double click on the clip. It'll bring it into the timeline. Okay, right here where he puts his thumbs up, where he gives a thumbs up. If you haven't given a thumbs up already, you probably should take Casey Ferris's word for it here. We're going to back that up a little bit because we want to get him doing that thumbs up. So we're going to back that up, again, using our J key to reverse this clip. So right about here, we'll put the in point. Right about there, we'll put the out point. We will insert that at the end of the clip. We're going to play through the rest of this. Now I'm going to play this clip until he kind of is almost around the corner. If you notice as I play through the clip, over here on this side over here, it looks like he catches his shirt or something in part of the clip, and we don't want to get that in the video. Right about there. I think that's going to be good. And then right there, as he's kind of facing the aisle, that's the part we want to bring in. So we'll go ahead and insert that into the timeline and play through the rest of it. Now here he's gonna kind of sort through the bags, get everything set up. And this is really a huge part of content creation. I think a lot of times with vlogs or videos, we think that it's just a matter of making a series of cuts and putting everything together and just shoot it out there. And that's not the case. And it's not the case with videography either. And so some of the people, Greg's Vlog Show, for instance, Uncle Heavy, Just Jason has done some vlogs. Vlogging really, the point is obviously to make it look very organic, like this is just my day and I just kind of put it together, and that's never the case. It's a lot of staging, and so that's what you'll see in this clip. That's not what we want. Hit the J key to back up just a little bit, right about there. We're going to make an I endpoint there. We're just going to hit I on our keyboard, make that endpoint, play it back through. Right about there. We're going to do that. So we'll insert that to the end of the timeline. Let's play back through a little bit of this to see what it looks like. We'll go right there. All right. We are going to go to the next clip. All right, we'll play through this. So again, if you just came on, anytime I want to bring anything up here into my source monitor, I just double click on the link or on the video.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to use our J key to back that up a little bit. Hit an endpoint with the I key.
Yeah, buddy. We did it.
Hit an out point with the O key. We're going to insert that to the end and move on to our next clip. All right. Again, double clicking on that, bringing it up into our source monitor. It's going to hit my space bar. For if you just joined, space bar will start and stop the timeline playing. Right about here, we're going to do an endpoint.
Coffee beans. Those aren't probably the very best coffee beans in the world, but they're pretty good, and they're at this store that's close to me. So that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're doing today. We don't have time for this.
There we go. And so we will insert that into the timeline. And I think that's all we're going to use from this clip. Yeah, that's all we're using. So we will move on to the next clip again. Just double click on it. Here again we have and so this is a clip of just him driving back home. And obviously we don't want to use every bit of this. And so we will insert it. We'll right click on it. Command R. Let's change this one to 5,000. So I think it's a little shorter. What we're going to do, let's bring that timeline out a little bit, make it a little bigger. So what we're going to do again, if you're on Windows, hit your Alt key. If you're on Mac, click the Option key, click on that, hit delete. That's just going to get rid of that audio because we don't want that audio. Again, it's kind of scratching. So if we put it back, this is what it sounds like. It's horrible. And so we don't want that. So we'll get rid of that. Go to the end. Oh, why we got something way back here? What is that? Let's see what this is. Yeah, I don't know why we have that clip. We're going to get rid of that. Go to the end. We're going to go to our next clip. Now this clip actually takes place in the story prior to the clip we just placed there. So what we're going to do is we're going to move our timeline indicator, which is this little blue line right here. We're going to play through this. What is the average time frame for a beginner to learn what you just demonstrated? That's a great question. I think pretty honestly, you could watch through this video a couple of times and hopefully pick up everything that I'm showing you. And that's really kind of the point is to show you how easy it can be, how quick it can be, and also hopefully kind of help people learn how to structure a story, tell a story, and include only the things that are important to the story, interesting, entertaining, that sort of thing. And in the event that there's anybody here that missed how to import or how to import video, create a sequence, anything like that, there is a playlist down in the description feel free to go down there and click on that. And there's a whole lot of videos down there that will explain everything you need to know prior to this process and even after this process. So Walter, thank you very much for that question. So what we did was we had the timeline indicator was here at the end of this track. We moved it here, and the reason we did that is this clip that you're looking at here in the monitor is actually going to go in between these two clips. And so we have left the parking lot of the store. He's got the coffee, and he immediately goes into driving. But there's some more stuff that's going on prior to him getting home, but leaving the store. So we're gonna insert that in this area here. So let's play through that. And we obviously don't want to get him, picking his ear or scratching his head or eyeballing the camera. Or adjusting the camera. So right about here, just before he starts talking, we're going to hit an endpoint.
So I've discovered that I'm probably an old man because I've recently just started drinking coffee black, which I'm pretty sure makes you an old person. Because I always remember my grandpa just drinking coffee black. Grandma and grandpa, they don't care. They don't care if there's creamer, they don't care what. They just want their coffee. Don't care what kind of coffee it is. It could be Folgers, it could be...
And so right here, he's going to pause for an inordinate amount of time. We're going to go ahead and bring all that in, and we'll edit it out later. So that is just that first, this is just that first pass.
It could be 2 months old. It doesn't matter. Coffee's coffee.
And so right about there is where we're going to do an insert. Now, you can also just hit the comma key on your keyboard, and that will bring the clip in as well. Let's make this, see if we can get this a little smaller so you can see. So going back through. Hey, Sammy, how are you? Just in time, man.
So I've discovered that I'm probably...
All right. So we're going to move on. We've got like 2 clips left, and we're almost through our first pass. So we're going to play through this. Okay, we are going to use the J key to back that up just a little bit. We want to get him making that exhalation sound because he's home, and that's the point of this. So right about here, I think we're going to do... My grandmother used to drink Maxwell House coffee black when I was young. I think I drank that when I was much younger. If I remember, it comes like in a blue can, or it used to. I think they're all plastic now.
Mission accomplished.
So right there, when he says mission accomplished, we're going to wait a second or so, bring that in. And so we will, again, comma key. Thank you, Sammy. It's good to be live again. It's a little nerve-wracking. Sammy goes live all the time. So does Walter. And so when you do it all the time, it's kind of this whole second nature thing to you. And for me, it's I don't do it that often anymore. So you may notice in this last clip, this is the clip right here that we just brought into the timeline. Now again, we're going to use part of this clip that's left before the clip we just brought in. And so we moved our timeline indicator, which is this right here, back between these last 2 clips so we can insert it right in between them. So we're going to move this forward quite a bit. Start playing it. Okay. Right about there, we're going to hit an in point or an out point. Move it back a little bit right there. In point, out point. So we're going to go ahead and insert that. We'll play it back.
It could be 2 months old. It doesn't matter. Coffee's coffee. Mission accomplished.
So obviously I wanted the mission accomplished to be after he turned the car off. You know, if we'd have done mission accomplished, then he turned the car off, it kind of left you thinking, I think it flows better this way if we have the car being cut off and then the end of that clip. So we'll go to the end there, click on that. We're gonna go ahead, even though we're not technically into that next pass, I'm gonna go ahead and add some B-roll because it's not really going to affect the edits that I'm going to make later on when we kind of tighten it up a little bit. So we're gonna play through this a little bit. I'm gonna move it ahead a little bit. I don't wanna play the whole thing. It's not super long, I just wanna play the whole thing. So right about here, we're going to hit I on our keyboard, and that's gonna create an endpoint. And then we'll do an out point. And for this, we'll insert this at the end. We're then going to go back to the beginning. And we're going to take that same piece of footage, and we're just going to drag the video only. So if you see me come up here to these two little icons, one of them is for audio only. And so if I drag that down to the timeline, it will bring only the audio. If I grab this one, it will bring only the video. And all we want for this opening is the video. So we're going to bring that down. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hit the plus button on our keyboard. And that's going to expand that keyboard out, or that video out. We're also going to hit the Option plus. And what that's going to do is make our audio track louder or larger. I'm going to extend this out. Let me see. I think I want it to start right about here where he's talking.
But I need...
Okay, so right here, he's saying, but I need coffee. So we're going to extend that out. I want this to cover everything until he gets to that point where he says, but I need coffee. And so this clip, if you remember correctly, I'm going to turn this top clip off so you can see this bottom clip. When we first brought this in, I told you normally I wouldn't use any of this. And so playing through it, you can see why I wouldn't use this as a visible part of the video. And so it's this weird transition of this, the camera's sideways, he's sideways, and not necessarily making the best faces. However, we wanted all of the audio from this. Not just the part here where he's talking.
It's really rain.
But we wanted all of this as well. And it's a rain sound. And so go ahead and enable that. We'll play back through this.
It's really rainy, but I need coffee beans.
And that's one of the things I do kind of really dislike about Premiere on a Mac. Sometimes it can be a touch glitchy. And so this was an issue I had the other day. This first clip, for whatever reason, when I brought it in, it kind of played back funny. So we'll play it again. We're not going to play it all because it's pretty annoying, but it kind of got that drag. It's the only clip in the timeline that's got it, and I don't know why it's doing that. So, I don't know. Let's shorten this back out a little bit. I had it muted. And so we're just going to play through the timeline real quick just to kind of show you that story element that I was talking about. Taking a few clips and creating a story.
Go to the store. You have to pick in the middle of a torrential downpour. This is day 3 with no coffee beans, which I know is not the worst problem in the world. But when you get up...
Not entirely certain why it's doing that, but let's try to render it into out and see what it does. See if that makes a difference with the playback. Yeah, I'm still getting that weird, I don't know what that is.
It's really rainy, but I need coffee beans.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that weird audio thing is, what I got going on here.
World. But when you get up early, do creative stuff. Yeah, buddy.
Tell you what, we're just going to go ahead and mute the audio and play it back that way. And you can still get a sense of what the story is and what's going on. Yeah, see, if you can tell, the timeline indicator, for some reason, is kind of jumping a little bit here and there, and I'm not entirely certain why it's doing that. And I got to think it's kind of an Ecamm, something, maybe some glitch in Ecamm for some reason, because I'm noticing here, I can see myself twice, and I shouldn't. There's only one camera set up. So yeah, anyway, great editing. Always tell a great story in a video. I can see the jumps, yeah. And so I'm not entirely certain what is doing that. And so obviously I've been editing all day. Honestly, most of what I've done today has been in DaVinci Resolve, but I have done a little bit here in Premiere, and I never had that issue. But I did notice the other day when I did a run through, I was having some weird audio issues and some weird jump issues here in Premiere Pro when I was using Ecamm. And so probably what I will do before the next live stream is run through this whole thing and see if there's any glitches, try to troubleshoot it, get it worked out so that we can maybe do it without any issues. If I continue to have issues with, and it may be Premiere's interacting with Ecamm in a weird way, I don't know. We'll figure out what it is. If we can't figure out what it is, I'll edit the next video. I'll just re-edit this video in DaVinci Resolve. We'll run through what we did. It won't take that long, obviously. We've been, what, 20 minutes, 26 minutes now. And so what we'll do is we'll run through it, do that first pass, and then do the second pass next time. We'll do it all in DaVinci Resolve. And so that's pretty much it for this live stream. I do want to keep it fairly brief. I don't want to take up any more of your time than possible. If you have any questions about Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve, editing, telling a story, anything like that, anything that's pertinent to the live stream, please leave it down in the comments after the live stream. I'd love to answer those questions either in a video or just in a response, either way. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I really, really appreciate all of you. I know all of you personally and have a great history with you guys, and I really appreciate you being here. You've been super supportive of the channel, and I always appreciate that. So guys, have a great night, and I will see you next time, hopefully without the technical issues that we had tonight. Thanks, guys.